Okay, we're live, everybody. We're gonna have an unknown voice, which is Tina Bird, in the background. We're doing a show on Skype as well at the same time. So, any questions? Email me or Tina, Hawksblood1AOL.com, mine, and Tina will be talking in next to us. So, greetings. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you, Tommy. How are you?
All right, we have another guest on. You want to say hello?
Hi everyone, my name is Sasha, and I've
Can you
known
raise your
Tommy.
volume just a little bit if you can?
My volume?
Yeah, your volume.
I don't know. Let me try.
Because you're a little bit faint. So, got a few topics I want to deal with today. I'm sure everybody knows I don't need my glasses. What the problem is right now is this virus that's spreading. There's multiple stories. They're getting to try to contain it, this, that, and the other thing. Trump says it'll be over by March or April. I mean, where's he come up with his own dates? He's God, so he can do whatever he wants. So in the interim, it's up to 1,000 dead. So it's not stopping really. But I'll give you some information just in case you might want to check it out. You don't have to believe anything I say ever. But if you want to find out if it's real or not, do a little research and you will find it. Excuse me. The virus was created in Canada. Right? It was brought to China with the doctor and the scientist that discovered it and created it. It was being worked on for 2 years, and suddenly it's released. So we got to figure out who would release it, whether it was China, why would they do it, was it the United States, or how it got out. But it did get out, and it is out, and it is spreading pretty bad. So I suggest everybody check on that. Hold on, I don't know. Suddenly, I disappeared from the sky. Sorry about that. The air outside is pretty.
Okay, Tommy.
Oh, I'm okay now, but the air outside is crazy. I walk outside, I start sneezing, coughing.
Bless.
Excuse me.
You don't have coronavirus, do you?
I know, but I just came. They could be spraying it in the sky.
Yeah, that's
chemicals could be used in a great way or a bad way. And if they ever put it in a plane and sprayed it with the chemtrails, they would wipe out pretty much a large population on the planet. And I noticed I've been sneezing and coughing every time I go out. And they do spray chemtrails a real lot here. But I don't want to talk about that all day. But anybody else want to say anything about it before we go on to another subject?
No, well, here in the UK, we just get news day by day, either from Sky News or the BBC News. That's the only two main kind of news channels here in the UK. And the news we first gathered was the coronavirus came out, we were told, in January. It had a 2-week incubation period, and there had been a few outbreaks, a few minor people had it. And then as we go along, it's been over 2 weeks now, it's come out that they've had this since December. And I was shocked to learn, it said the other day on Sky News, that the death toll, the death toll they announced on the news to everybody, the deaths, are only the people that has died in hospital. And the new cases are only the cases that are reported to hospitals. So if you happen to go to your local GP in China, or you're sick in China, or you live in a village where there's not a hospital, your figures don't count. So there's a billionaire on notice on one of the news channels yesterday or the day before came out and said they burned 40 or 50,000 people already. And then on the BBC, in the Sky News yesterday, it said that we've overtaken SARS. So if that's the case, they said, this coronavirus has a 2% mortality rate. The SARS was 10% or 12%. Well, if we've overtaken SARS, surely now it's a pandemic, and they're not classing it as a world pandemic, which it is, because you've had more than one death in other countries outside the host country, and it's spread. It spreads really, really quickly. It spreads person to person through vapor drops. And the last thing that we heard in the UK was that there was no detectable genome. So if they couldn't detect a genome, where it come from, surely then it has to be man-made in a virus, in a lab.
Well,
I
that's
believe. So I'm not sure if this is right. I'm not sure if it's the World Health Organization or the UN. So don't quote me on that because I don't know all the facts. I just heard the end of the news. It said that had offered to go to China and help them come up with a cure, and it's been turned down. So the help has been turned down. But yeah, there's huge questions being asked here in the UK after it was said to have been a UK citizen went to China, infected himself at a conference, didn't know he had it, but if he was asymptomatic or didn't know he had it, and then went to another country, went skiing, spread it to them. But if he spread it to all these people but wasn't showing any symptoms himself, surely he's a direct carrier of the main route, surely.
well, there's a game they're playing right now, and we're gonna have to sit back and watch how it plays out.
Well, he visited the doctor here, and he might have been back in the country a day. He come to the country to visit a doctor. The doctor's now got it. There's a doctor's surgery closed. The local school of ours closed, and we have a huge population of Chinese here in Southampton that go to Southampton University. So I do feel sorry for all the young people there, but I think some of them are self-quarantined themselves. They must be feeling so lonely away from home and their children themselves. So it's very distressing for everybody, this situation, but it just seems that they're dumbing it down and they're starting to play it down on news not to panic people, or are you really going to get it if it's only 2%? And they're like, well, if I get it, I get it. That is not the attitude. That is not the attitude at all, but that's where we're from here in the UK. Tommy, I'll chuck it back to you.
Well, there is a millionaire coming out and offering millions of dollars to help stop it, try to stop it. So there's a few people out there that really care, that are taking it serious. I mean, China is playing a weird kind of game, but we have to realize if it affects any country around Tibet, like Tibet and those kind of countries, they don't have hospitals. They don't have doctors. It would pretty much wipe out a whole country. So unless they get this up and running in a better way, like you said, they don't know how to cure it yet. But I was told this too. The cure for it is in California. It's in one of the biggest chemical companies out there. How they're going to release it, if they're going to release it, and when they're going to release it.
Are you?
That's an interesting fact here in the UK. I looked it up on the NHS England website. And if you go there and I look under pandemic or NHS guidelines, it tells you what the NHS are prepared to do in the event of a world pandemic. It says there is a vaccine. They have a vaccine, but it will not be available for people until 6 months after. 6 months after the first outbreak. So after the first wave, they're then going to give a vaccine, some type of flu shot vaccine. But I think they're waiting for so much of the population to die off first because the world's so overpopulated. This is definitely, I don't care what they say, this is definitely, in my opinion, it sounds like it's doing deliberately released just to kill off some of the world's population.
And I put up an article from Sasha. Check it out if you can read it.
Something else I'd like to add.
What's really going on?
They've already identified 3 natural forms, herbs, molecules that actually stop.
He's just reading it, what it says. I mean, you're not watching it on a site. I wish you could get in here. But yeah, we got a problem. And the problem is people don't care enough to find the facts, look for the facts, and pull them out and work with them. They'd rather deal with stories and somebody says everything's okay. They'll believe that. Like you said, if they're really burned 40,000 people already, guess what? They're not explaining how bad it really is. So unless people really start digging and looking for the facts, whether the government wants to tell us what's really happening on that or not is another story as well. Now, China is only giving us numbers they want to give us. You know, when any serious event happens, they give us a partial number. I mean, if 1,000 people die, they say 100 people died. Even when the native thing was going on up on the pipeline, they said there's a couple hundred people. There was a couple thousand people there that they were torturing and trying to do all kinds of things too. They don't give us, they give us bits of information, expect us to believe it, and then they eliminate the story, just like 9/11. So unless people want to live in like a prison state and Mr. Trump is becoming our dictator, they better wake up soon. If Trump gets in for another 4 years, the world will never be the same. And it's not going to be better in a good way. He's going to eliminate anybody that's in his way, anybody that doesn't like him. And then once that happens, who's going to vote against him? All the people he'll have in power will be taking his money.
Sorry to interrupt you, Tommy. Something 2 or 3 days ago said here in the UK, it popped up on Google News, that the American US Marines, if that's right, bombed Afghanistan.
Well, yeah, I heard that story too. There's too much being covered up right now. Trump does his things, and then he tells us after they kill some famous person or something. Whatever they're doing, whatever the reason is, it's not good. Nothing that's happening right now is good for anybody. So the election's coming, and I don't even see a person that could save the day on either side of the election. So you better get ready to hold on tight, because it's going to be shaking every which way from the ground up. Now, just to show you, I'm in Hawaii. 2 nights ago, the mountain was being covered with snow, but they had winds of 136 miles an hour. Yet last night, we had an electric lightning storm for at least an hour, nonstop lightning bolts going through the clouds in one area over the ocean. So whether it was real, made, created, being used by something, we don't know. But the events are changing rapidly. And I could say people are losing their minds. I don't know if that's because of chemtrails or whatever the reason, but we have so many different things crashing down. The UFO world's escalating, and I'm sure people can see that. Please, I have a PDF file. If anybody wants to know how to see a UFO, please text me, hawksblood1AOL.com, same email, if you want my first or second book. But you need to get involved. You need to be aware. I mean, a lot of people here in Hawaii don't watch TV, don't read the newspaper. They don't even know that there's a virus out there. That's how backwards a lot of people in Hawaii are. So how do we break this open? How do we bring out? We're not going to do it in time. These people here in Hawaii that don't have TVs, they get the information when they go to the health food store and they sit outside and everybody talks around there. And then, oh, there's an epidemic? Oh, an epidemic? Where? And they're not even aware of what's going on in any vague way. So the UFO scene's happening greatly here. Nobody's talking about it. I mean, the people around my neighborhood, I got them all aware, and they look at the sky, they tell me what they see every night. So it's amazing if you can go outside. I mean, it's cloudy every other night here, almost all and every night for a month straight at a time. So I don't get to film too much. But again, you need to be aware and active right now. Too many things are happening. I want to give it back to you, Tina, but I want you to come out. How are you doing? How's your health right now? You want to just tell just a brief synopsis of your story so people can understand who you are?
Yeah. If you hold on 2 seconds, Tommy, I'm just going to put my headphones on my phone and I can meet you on Stomp the Yard on my mobile phone.
Okay.
But if you carry on for a second, I'll be right back with you. Hold on 1 second.
So, Sasha, anything to say while we're taking a quick break?
Nothing too exciting. I've been just trying to contact my local city officials and trying to make them aware of the 5G dangers. And of course, they're just like ignoring the dangers and more worried about the money and the funding.
Well, Sasha, your volume's still low. I don't know how to raise it.
I didn't see an option on my end.
You don't have an option on your computer to raise the volume?
Not my microphone.
Tommy, you'll find I've tried to get on Stomp the Yard on my phone and it's saying my mic and camera is being blocked.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just flashed up on my phone.
Oh, man.
It says someone on your browser has blocked your microphone and yeah, I put my earphones and it says you're being blocked. Your camera and microphone is being blocked.
Well, I just lost my guest. Hold on. He's trying to get back on. Hold on. You're back.
Is that audio better or is it still the same?
Oh, it's much better. I can hear you
good.
now.
It was just my connection. I just had to refresh my browser.
Tina's trying to get in, and the browser's blocking her completely.
Well, usually
Tina, could you use Firefox?
that's what I'm using right now.
I'm on Google. Hold on.
Don't use Google. Try anything but.
Right.
Somebody
Let
out.
me update it.
Somebody out
hold
there.
on. Oh, can you see me?
Not yet.
No, hold on then. I'm taking a picture of
Sundar,
myself.
Sundar Pichai wants you.
Come on, what's it doing?
Hold on. See.
Try that. No.
Oh, you calling me on
Ringing
Skype?
someone. Oh, just
I
call.
did get it.
Sorry.
I mean, I see you on Skype, but
So
I don't see you here. What was that,
Because I'm
Sasha?
entering the studio, and every time it goes to entering the studio, I see that it clicks me for a second and it says I've been blocked.
Just sign out completely and try back in. But can you go to any other browser? Like you don't have Internet Explorer?
I've tried Internet Explorer, it put me back for, hold on, it's loading something
And
else
then
now.
Firefox, you have that up or no?
No, because I've just downloaded. Oh, here we go. Can you see me on? Your broadcast? Enter studio.
Oh, hold on.
Hi.
It's oh, there she is. Here she is. Okay, we finally got
Okay,
the
there we
third
go.
party on. There's Tina. Greetings.
Hi, Sasha.
Hello. Hi, Tina.
Now we can do this show together with all three of us.
Yeah.
You're going to quick Skype now on the other.
Well, we're not going to be able to do much about the virus right now, except keep our eyes and ears open and keep an eye on the facts, what we can pull up. And if anybody comes up with any real outrageous things, let us know. But let's go on to, we want to keep this open for people with questions and that want the truth on UFOs, ghosts, spirits, demons, entities, soul, spirit, death, life, birth. Not stories.
So you wanted to talk to me about my before we went off the break there. It's taking me back to Skype on my computer. It's trying to ring you, probably. I do apologize.
Right.
So what did you want to know about, or did you want me just to reiterate?
Just tell people that are new to our show that what you went through, just as fast as you can or as slow as you want, but what happened to you in your life to put you where you are right now?
So what happened to me is something like when you're a child, things happen and you like it's with you at the time, and then something distracts you and you move on in life, and like you kind of grow up, and if nothing else happens, it takes weeks or years, it just melts on by and you kind of forget. And then years pass you by and you grow up and small things happen, and sometimes you think, did that happen? Or anyway, you have a couple of freaky dreams and it all comes back, and then nothing. And then that's the way it's kind of been for me. But when I remember things, I've seen things, I've seen things close up. So I've got my glasses on, my sight's been bad at the moment, so I do apologise. There you go, a bit better now. It's you can't forget seeing a being or something that's been scared. Well, you're looking at it in the eye and you're seeing it face to face. You're looking at it in the eye and you're seeing it face to face. It's not a dream. You're in the room and you're there with it. It wasn't to the point that my partner became ill that I actually wanted to do something about it. For years I hadn't said anything, and things used to come flooding back in one go. And I didn't understand really what was going on. I thought if I told anyone, they thought I was going to be crazy. And then my partner became seriously ill. And I woke up one night a few years ago, went to bed as normal, woke up and I woke up and my partner was gone, and there's this glowing white being next to my bed, 2 feet away from me. So literally from here to there, 2 feet away from me, and I'm seeing it now as clearly as I see you. It was glowing white. It was probably about 3.5 feet tall, no more than 4 feet tall, and it kind of bent forward at the hips. It was just in front of me. I was laid sideways in a fetal position, looking to my right. My partner's side of the bed was empty. The sheet had pulled back, he'd gone, and there was a lock of glowy, bluey green light in the wall. And this creature bent down and looked, it had like a weird, like a human would lean forward. It leant forward, it didn't move, it like moved from the hips and leant forward. And I was looking on my bedside cabinet, and I had like 3 stuffed dollies there and 3 pictures of my my huskies, my dogs, and it was looking at them. But I couldn't move. I couldn't move. I was frozen. Felt like my eyeballs had popped forward, and it knew. I knew it knew. It didn't link with me. I just knew it knew, and that I was awake. And then it all went bright white light. And the next thing I know, it's daylight, and I'm normally up before daylight. It's daylight, and Marco is sat bolt up in bed next to me. And the first thing he says is, "My throat hurts, my bum hurts," and that was it. And I just knew. I thought, "Shit, do I?" Oh, excuse me, so sorry. I thought, "Do I tell him?" You know, and within a couple of days, we both became ill. I had a sore throat and I had pain, and this wasn't long before the Christmas. By the Christmas, he was having chest pains. He fell down the stairs. We had to call an ambulance. And his health really deteriorated. He started losing lots of weight, had loads of problems. Just after New Year, by January, February, we were in and out of hospital. We both were. And we had wound up going back to hospital, and I got diagnosed to go and see a stomach specialist. And I went in, and he gave me a scan, you know, the camera down the throat. We had that. And he said that you could see on a camera when you have the thing down the throat, they show it on a TV screen. We really laid there now, and there's loads of them there. And he said, "Oh, there's this black stuff, so we'll take a bit of that." And he said, "You've got a huge scar inside you. It's so many." They measure it when they go in, how many down it is in the stomach. So he gave me some medication. He treated me, and he said, "You know, I'll see you up in the follow-up clinic." Anyway, a week later, Marco had to go for his scan. Same doctor, believe it or not. When I went to the hospital, he said, "Oh, hello, Tina. What are you doing here?" And I'm here with my partner. He said, "Well, that's strange. Both of you in the same house being ill with the same symptoms." So he took my partner in, and he had the same thing, camera down the throat, and had looked. And he come out, and at the hospital, Southampton General Hospital, they give you a doctor's note, a letter with a picture of his scan thing on there, with the measurements and everything. And he had exactly the same scars at the same depth inside his body. And you know, you can't fake that. And then he got worse from there, and he lost loads of weight. And they said, I already thought we thought he was going to die. They said to us, "It's hope for the best." He said, "But I want to prepare you for the worst." And we were devastated when we come back at the hospital. He said, "Can you come back?" I said, "Yeah, when do you want us to come back?" Thinking, "Oh, like a month or two." He said, "No, this afternoon in 2 hours." I was devastated. We went back that afternoon. He did more tests, and he did. I took a picture of the blood testing, and they thought he had liver cancer, but they couldn't find it. So in his blood and X-rays and scans and that. We had to follow him. And then that's the point I had enough. And I knew I wasn't crazy. I knew it was real from the marks I'd had previously before, and I knew the dreams and the things. I knew it was real. So in England, there's no one. And it took me months to figure out who was going to believe me. But he needed help now. I needed someone to tell me it was going to be all right. Had anyone this happened to anybody, and what could the outcome be? So I did a bit of research, had a look online, and Gary Hesseltine, who's the next police officer. So I reached out to him, mentioned after like a little while, got his telephone number or email address. Sorry, tell a lie. It was email address and telephone number, and I messaged him. And I thought he was going to think I'm a crazy nutter, and he didn't. He messaged me back and said, "Hi, Tina." So unfortunately, he said, "I don't deal with this side of UFOs and alien abduction." He said, "But this guy, David Hodrin, who runs Truth Project, Birmingham UFO Group, he's the chairman there, and he's also a writer for the UFO Truth magazine. He said he'll listen to you." So I left it about a week or two, and contacted David Hodrin, and he answered the phone to me, believe it or not, and we spoke for 2, 3, maybe 4 hours. We spoke for a good few hours. I sat in my car, and it all just came out in one day. I felt really comfortable. I spoke to him about everything. It came out. He was writing all down, and he believed me. And I said, "Look," he said, "Why have you come forward now?" I said, "My partner's ill. I want help. I want answers. Could you tell me what's going to happen? Is there any help out there? Is this happened to anybody else?" He said, I know some people around the world." He said, "I'll get back to you." Anyway, and since then it went on. David, it took like 2.5 years to document my account, and I'll give him doctor's letters and the pictures of the marks on my body and the scars and all the hospital letters and results and things like that. And it went from there. But for me, it started as a child. I was about 6. I remember this bright white light coming through my ceiling and coming towards me, and that was my first real memory. It didn't really come back to me again. I had a few freaky things, like with the white light flying in between, like with holes in my legs, and that was unaccounted for. And then it wasn't until I was later on when one of the worst things happened to me is when I wake up. I remember a bright white light, and I would wake up on this. Well, come around and wake up on this. It was like a bench, and I was staring up, and I was sat up at like a 30-degree angle, laid on this bench, and I couldn't move. I couldn't even move my eyeballs. I could only look forward, and they were drilling. There's this orange light above me, and it was like light coming down. I couldn't feel anything, like drilling holes in my leg, but it looked like if you took like half a matchstick and burnt a hole in jelly, that's what it probably kind of looked like. But and I had that when I was younger. Then when I was having it done to me at the time, it was like a flashback. They did this to me when I was younger. And then another time I was on this bench and I wasn't able to move. First time I wasn't able to move. They said there was loads of them there, and for some reason they could talk to me in my head, and I didn't know what telepathy or things like that was. They understood me and I understood them. They showed me images in my head, and they spoke to me, and they showed me these babies in like glass, like black coffee cup stuff, like black glass, and these little pods, and there was babies inside, and they were clones. So they've been cloning human beings. They've been taking me for DNA or human beings for research. There's other people. I've seen lots of other people up there, hundreds of people. I mean, I can't be the only one, to remember this. So that was another time they took me on this like conveyor belt situation. But yeah, they've been claiming human beings, cloning me, other people. And what gets me at the end of all of this cannot be going on without some government around the world knowing they're doing this to humans, knowing they're using us for DNA resource, for sheep, whatever the hell they're doing with us, and no one's getting compensated, and you should be getting the best medical health care. You don't know what they're taking out of you, what they're putting in you. I've lost lots of parts of my life to this, and I do feel very angry. People say, it's all bright white light and they're here for a good purpose. Well, there's nothing good about being taken against your will and stuck to a table and remembering them drilling holes in you and taking bits from inside you. That's like being tortured, it's terrible. And for what purpose? That can't be for the betterment of humanity. I don't care what people say. So and people come out with these crazy ass stories and people sound crazy and they're like, there's nothing. I'm like, no. Until you've been there and laid there yourself, it's like, I believe in aliens. It's not religion. Aliens are real. Human beings aren't religion. We're real people. We're here today. We're vile, infectious creatures, if you like, overrun the world, but we're real. These things are real, and these things are happening to human beings. And no one is doing anything to help us. Now they're coming out. These governments are coming out saying, "Oh yes, they are real." We can't explain what they are. Fair enough, we're not expecting you to say this is from the planet asteroid and there's a different population of species of human being or aliens that live there. It's what people perceive as aliens, little green men. It's not. These things are white. People say they're grey. I don't think I've seen them grey. They look glowing white to me. And if they are out there, and they are out there, they've obviously made contact with us. If the government don't want to tell us for security purposes or think we can't handle it, then fine. But they should be listening more to abductees. I know lots of things that they've showed me that I couldn't possibly get out over all these years. Stuff I don't understand. I'm not the sharpest tool in the toolbox, but I understand things they showed me. They could communicate with me quite well. If I could understand them and they can understand me, they might have thought I was a bit thick, but I could understand them. They let me go in their ship. I know I sound crazy. They can take you to other planets. I've seen other planets. I've seen inside different ships. I've seen loads of things that other human beings will probably never get to experience. But, I'm nothing special. I didn't ask this. I didn't choose this. Other people say the same things. Everyone shares the same kind of nutty story, if you like. It sounds nutty because, people have never seen it or believed it. I mean, would you believe, if you didn't know about snow leopards, that, hey, I went camping the other day in the mountains and I saw this creature. It's 25 times the size of a normal cat, and it was black and white spots, and it was climbing up a rock face. People would think you're crazy, but they actually exist. So, you know, I think they do know UFOs exist. The American Navy have come out and said, yes, they're real. Is it the Air Force that come out? I read a book by retired general, was it Colonel Corso, The Day After Roswell. That book is phenomenal. Everybody should read that book. Paula Harris told me to read that book, and it's phenomenal. But so that's where I'm coming from. So I've set up high human individuals visited by extraterrestrials. So if anyone has a question or wants help or someone to speak to, contact me. You know, there's no help out there. Not in, you know, England. You can contact David Hodrin at Birmingham UFO Group, or you can contact Gary Hesseltine, and that's at the UFO Truth magazine. There are people that out there that do believe me. Not, I don't care if people believe me or not. I know what's happened to me. But it's been 4 issues of the UFO Truth magazine, and they do lectures about it, talks about it, you know. So it's about getting the word out and believing people. There's more out there than what we're doing. You know, people are going to other parts of the galaxy. If they're there, then the human beings are there, and I bet your ass the US Marines are there as well. Tommy and Sasha, I'll leave you open to any questions.
Well, no, that was really interesting. It's just so people can understand who and what we are. I want to say a few things. There's only a few books I read that I feel are important. I mean, stories are one thing. Where they take you with it, what's going on is okay. But the important thing is what really happened. I'll tell you 2 books to read. One of them is, let's see, what is it called? Rays of Truth, Crystals of Light by Fred Bell. Sands of Time by Sean David Morton. Both of those books will explain every single thing that's going on in the UFO world, what's really happening, and what went down. Not like all these other stories of their trip to Mars with the president and seeing alien races here and there, and none of them have anything that's beneficial to what's really going on around us. Fred Bell, when he put his book out, I was friends with him. He was friends with Billy Myers, actually got to go on airships and things like that. But in the interim, he did a show with Jesse Ventura 2 years ago. And Jesse asked him, aren't you afraid the government come after you? And he said, no, I work for the government. 2 days later, he didn't even leave the hotel room. He was found dead in the hotel room. So Sean David Morton, I know people were against him. He got involved with a problem that really made some people dislike him and lost lots of money. But he did put 2 books out that are more important of the whole foundation from the Philadelphia experiment to now, and how it was put together, organized, what countries were working together, and everything else.
I mean, all these books. Sorry, I've got a question for both of you actually. So, Sasha, I know you're kind of new to this, and Tommy's the expert. I didn't realise Tommy looks really good for his age, by the way. Just saying, Tommy. But with his experience, people should be listening more to these older stories. These older stories, people confirm this. The US Navy confirmed all this happened at the time. So, not being rude, but Tommy was probably there, and he can vouch for that. Now, we're 50, 60 years on from that, and these things are still happening today. Tommy's stories and thoughts and truths all the way through have been right. These are actual events that happened in history. It's still going on today, and yet the government remains silent. There are no real universal help group out there. Every government on the planet is silent. That tells you that something is going on, and yet as mankind, we've only moved forward with technology. As mankind, as a group, we've not moved anywhere. In fact, we've got worse. We're killing each other. We're letting off bombs. We're giving each other diseases, and it's spreading across the planet. What does that tell you? What would that tell you, Sasha? Do you think ET contacts that was helping mankind or not?
No, certainly not. And I don't need to even defend myself because evidence and, live events are speaking for themselves.
Well, what I want to say about, okay, now, Roswell is the biggest promoted story. Yeah. All right. The only thing is, it's only 1/10 of the real information. 3 ships were shot down during that time frame. All right. And they only talk about one of them. and they can't even prove any of that. So I was with a Hopi elder, who was his grandfather was with the aliens in one of the ships they shot down for a year. They learned to communicate, everything else. He wrote his thesis in college about it and won a special prize and everything. So they couldn't disprove his story, and it was written so well they had to give him, like, it's not the Nobel Prize, but for a writer, it's I forgot what it's called. But
Pulitzer.
in the interim, the government came after him and actually reprogrammed him. It's sad what happened to him in his life. They almost killed him. They broke half of his bones the first time, and then the second time they actually just kidnapped him and brainwashed him and reprogrammed what he thought. But people telling the truth don't tell it long. Look at all the people in the UFO world. All these out there right now are telling incredible stories, zero proof, and basically they're still telling it. All right. One person says he worked on 300 aliens. I said, there's 300 aliens sick and they're working on them? Really? And all these other stories. But here's the facts. Now, look at the planet. Look what's happening to the planet. And they say, well, aliens are going to come and help us. They'll come when we're ready. All that's a hearsay, dumb idea. If an alien wants to help somebody, they would. And they say, well, they can't interfere. Abduction's been going on for 100 years. That's called interference. And it's been going on much longer than that because people in the old days didn't even understand it or know what it was. So the idea that the truth's out there, no, it's not. Such a small part of the truth is being spoken by these people. Check out.
I do feel sorry for some of these people in the government. Apart from, I don't really, but I can understand their silence. I mean, if you're in a military position and you're ordered not to say anything and you're helpless to help the population, knowing these abductions are going on, and you're sat there in your office with all your brass on your shoulders, or all your army, or your military, or your navy behind you, and you're powerless to help humankind. You know, is that why they didn't come forward and say anything? They want to say that there's these big bad guys out there and we can't help you? If they can do that, then fair enough. If they can't do that and they can do something about it, then they should be speaking more. More and more, I think they don't want to take the rap for it. They don't want to take the rap for previous contacts and everything else. Step by step, it's coming out. Yes, the US military is doing it. You can see it on satellites. You can see it in scientists. You know, it's just...
All right, the information...
And I don't care if people believe it or not, but...
The information coming out is pretty much useless. The UFOs that the government released are useless. Those videos are way far past the present time. The videos people are shooting around the world are 1,000 times better. Now, the other thing is, when people come out with their truth, or they're told not to come out with it, they're afraid because of money. Basically, if you're told you're not going to get any more money from the government, or they're going to kill your family, 90% of the people have to go by the rules. My brother has to abide by those rules. He didn't tell me things for 30 years because, oh, I can't say nothing for 25 years. Some people, even your closest friends and family, won't tell you. Because if they do tell you and you say something, they will come after you as well. So the best thing, all I can say, if you're in the Army, Navy, Marines, and these things start happening, make sure you don't start a family when you go out there because they'll come after your family. Now, there's one person who's going to be on Kerry Cassidy. She's begging for money, but this person, Mark Richardson, I think his name is, Michael Richardson, well, he was in the Navy. He had all the UFO information, and he was trying to release it. They framed him for killing a person. He's in jail for 30 years, and no lawyer will take it, help him, or nobody's helping him get out. It's sad.
So I've got a question for you, Tommy. So, Sasha, this applies to you. So, what would you do or think then if they turn around today? Because I'm not sure if you've had a lot of UFO experience. If you've never had UFO experience and they turn around tomorrow and said, yes, aliens are real, they are coming here, they are abducting people, what would your view be of, one, the government, and two, people that have come forward and that they've been criticised, people they've locked up over the years? I mean, what do you think should happen to them, and what do you think the government should do, or how would they go about it? What would you think? Would it cause a panic? If they, you know, would you take them seriously?
No, not at all, because I understand what the government has been doing ever since the exploitation of ETs. And if they do disclose, it's not really going to change anything because it hasn't for the last 50 years, ever since Roswell, you know? You know, disclosure, it's just like from yesterday and today, you know, it's not going to change the world for the better. It's just going to cause a little bit of panic, you know, maybe for like a week, and then people are going to go back to their business.
So I think you'd see a lot more people either coming forward with either fake abductions, or you'd see a lot more people coming forward with abductions. And it's not a matter of belief, it's a matter of, well, let's look at these abduction cases and see what they've been doing to these people. How would you feel if they said that they'd like cut open hundreds of children, or like your girlfriend, or if they released lists of people that they've taken over the years and body parts they've taken? Excuse me. How would you feel about that? How would you feel if they turn around and say, well, hold on, Sasha, we've taken loads of your DNA, quarter of your intestines, all your 90% of your sperm, you know, hair samples. How would you feel about that? Would you want them back? And if you were unable to have children all your life because of what they've done, how would you feel towards them?
I would feel angry.
Welcome to my world. Tommy, how would you feel?
You know, here's the thing. I understand how it's going down. I knew it from a child all the way up to now. I've lost so many friends directly. My best friend, one of my real close friends, when I was 12 years old, he worked for NASA. He disappeared. His whole family disappeared. I can go on. But here's the thing. People like Phil Schneider, one of the most important UFO stories.
Yeah, I heard about him. Yeah.
And he went around and said he committed suicide. I mean, whatever the truth is, they won't let it out. Here's two separations. There's more people coming out with abducting stories, but the abduction stories have turned to experience stories. The difference between that is an experience is somebody programmed by an alien race. Now, abductees originally weren't allowed to abduct people if they couldn't keep their mind blank. So after Truman and Eisenhower went down, people that got abducted didn't know what happened. But as of like recently, well, I'd say in the past 20 years, when the word experiences started growing, it's people allowed to tell a story. But the story is much of a story. It's so far from the mainstream of what the aliens did to them. Take the movie Fire in the Sky. It became a movie. He's trying to do the movie over because he said there's too many facts that aren't real. But he still doesn't know what went on inside the ship. So when I
spoke to Travis face to face. I think they took him by accident, and you know, to this day, whether he can piece together his story or not, speaking to another abductee, and I don't like that word experience now, I'm sorry, all these lovely fairy tale experiences, and yeah, no, I'm sorry, if you're an abductee or you're not. Travis Walton, I think, in my personal view, is very forthright, very honest person, and yeah, if he doesn't remember stuff, you don't remember stuff. There's stuff I don't remember, but when you do remember it, you know. And he's a genuine experience. I just think they took him by mistake, which is why they didn't know what to do with him.
Well, he jumped on a ship. What are you going to do? You're driving the car and somebody jumps on your car. What do? You stop, you pull him in, you see if he's okay. I mean, and they grabbed him. So he was the one that went running towards the ship and jumped on it. Not they came after him, chasing him. So yes, he wasn't. They didn't decide to pick him up directly. But since he was there, I guess they had to take him because he got burnt. His whole body was burnt and everything. And I know that's part of being abducted as well, which you don't hear much. Now, the scenario which I use is programming. A lot of the programs going on by the government. Anybody in the Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force are programmed when they leave if they have any important information. Look at a person who I was really close to, who wrote... what was it? He was the one with the Army base, had the ship over it, that it landed, and basically the captain, the colonel, everybody came out and saw the ship, and they brought an alien down inside the base. He tried to run away to tell his family what was happening, and suddenly they arrested him and put him down in the base with the aliens. I mean, the story was incredible, but his whole life disappeared for 10 years. They couldn't even prove who he was. They threw him out. He wanted to even go back in the Army because he couldn't do anything. And these stories that come out, you have to piece the truth together. A lot of people have the story that they were abducted, not experiences. Experiences are totally different. They create the scenario that a good alien came down and picked them up and talked to them. And funny, not one of them, not one person that claims to be an experiencer has anything good or any experiences of their proof to show us or to tell us or what they're going to do for us. Oh, well, they're going to help us in the future. Everything's always some other time, some other place.
We need help now.
We need help in the moment. When a child's running across the street and a car's coming plowing down the road, well, I'll wait till the light changes. I'll run and get him after I see what happens. No, you stop it before it happens. And if they wanted to help us, they stop it before it happens. Now, I don't want to take up too much time on the government, what they're doing, the army. They're doing what they need to do to protect their people. Now, two things I want to bring out. 9/11 happened. None of the truth ever came out, and people still don't care. And that was one of the biggest things to change our patriotic bill and the things that are changing and corrupting the world greatly right now. So every time something goes by without people getting the truth, the government moves in and recreates the scenario of how we're going to live. And Mr. Trump is not doing much to benefit the human race. And I'll bring this up one last time on this show. Putin talked on Russian TV and told the world he wanted Trump to tell the truth about 9/11. And he wanted Trump to tell the truth about aliens. Because he's open about it. He said they're working with races. Two of them want to destroy the planet. The United States has been working with Russia and Germany for years. But do they want to tell the world China's in a totally different ball of the park? They want to take over the world.
Well, no, China actually, yeah, but they actually open about it. I'm sorry, I know people keep saying it's a closed country, but fair play to the Chinese. There was, I'm not quite sure what the right word is for it. It's like a member of parliament or a senator. One of their wives had been abducted. But if you ask any Chinese person, they will come out and say, yes, they believe in aliens and aliens are real. Even if you ask a member of their equivalent to our parliament, I'm not quite sure what it is out there.
Well, believe in something.
Yeah, but they're quite forward. They will come forward and say, yes, they're real. And they're very genuine and they're very serious about it.
Well,
why aren't everybody else?
China said they're going to take over the moon. And Mr. Trump
Probably
said...
already have.
Well, no, Trump's going to put a base up. We already have bases up there. See, now, there's the things where people need to realize where the lies are. We already went to Mars. So when Trump comes out and says he wants to be president when we go to Mars, he knows we went to Mars already. Well, he wouldn't have been able to say that. In 4 years, we're going to make it to Mars. Really?
We've been there about many times.
Exactly. So the scenario
Up
is...
into Jupiter.
Well, Venus is a planet where we went as well.
I've never been there.
I know one person particularly that says he went with 6 people. They go there every couple of years. They take them there. They're scientists. And they got to put special suits on. They got to get injected with liquid in their bodies and all kinds of stuff to go there. Realize the body's not made to travel super fast, which you can't. And it's not made to go through the fields that they go through when you're in space.
They just put you in a bubble and send you there.
Well, that's the only way. Exactly. So the truth is out there. Please. I mean, there's a few people that have some of it. I have some of it. And I'll tell you a few people that have more of it. That's why I named 2 books. One of them's dead and one of them's in jail. And John Ford is in a nut house on Long Island. The most people in the UFO world that have the most to say with the most proof can't say it. So, again, when we hear stories, and people are spending thousands of dollars to go to these UFO conferences to hear other people's ideas. I'm not going to pay money to hear somebody's stupid idea. Ancient Aliens is the most ridiculous show on TV because they got the most ridiculous speakers saying their story, what they think is what's...
Sorry, I've got to disagree there. Ancient Aliens is wonderful. They've been to all the places on the planet I've never been. They give you a different hypothesis and show you how things probably were. But probably, I think they're great. Yeah, but
you think anything...
But they rate. All it is, they're making awareness for people to ask questions.
Stupid things. Everything they're bringing out. Even if you believe the Sumerian tablets and the Emerald tablets, the stones that were written by one particular...
Hold on, Tommy. Someone just sent me a message. Is it Saturn Arc on your radar there?
So here's the thing. Oh, no, I didn't read my messages.
Hold on. So I've got someone from Saturn Arc said he's watching this show. It's awesome. The leaders cannot disclose what they have done. I can understand that because they don't want to be sued. But why are they I'm not, I can understand why the governments haven't come forward. What I don't understand is they're human beings. Why haven't they done more to help abductees? Like, even quietly to say, we give you free medical treatment. Come for a yearly, we give you a scan, an MOT. We understand that you can't work because you're puking up blood for 3 months and your hair's falling out, your teeth is falling out, your jaw's melting, your children are dead, and you've got all this black stuff stuck on your insides. We give you a year off work or 2 years off work and pay your bills. Why aren't they helping normal human beings? That's the kind of things we're suffering. Why aren't they doing that? So what if they can't disclose? They pay hundreds of billions of dollars and give people nuclear weapons and weapons. Why aren't they just helping basic people that live on the street? We're making nothing.
All right. I'm just reading some of the comments in the site. Here's the thing. I understand where you are. But for me personally, since I'm aware of all my lifetimes going back to Atlantis and to the present, when they talk about what went down in this time, what was who, they have no clue how many, 1,000 years later, still trying to talk about the pyramids, trying to talk about objects and the giants and things like that. They have no clue. They don't talk about why the native people were killing the giants. They don't talk about why the giants were killed out. I mean, they're not even going to get to that point ever. They're still just trying to prove that they were there. Okay, so what? Good. So
do you think they have disabled all the nukes or not?
No, they didn't. They showed that they stopped them for what, 1 week, couple weeks. They disabled them, but it was a fear tactic. But they're not going to stop us. They can't. I mean, the idea when the book I was telling you about, Larry Warren left at Eastgate, when he was out there and they had nuclear bombs underneath the base.
I've met Larry Warren.
Yeah, well, I was with him for a while, but basically when he was there, they brought him down inside the base and stuck him in the room with the aliens. So, but that whole story, the women were handcuffing themselves to the fence, trying to say stop the nukes, and they shut it down.
Oh yeah, that was Greenham Common. Greenham Common, that was. I remember that.
But see, here's the thing. World War III is really close to happening, and you have to realize which races are more powerful than which race. When Putin said 2 races want to destroy the planet, we need to think which 2 races are they. And basically, it's the reptilians and the draconians. The Greys aren't destroying the planet. The Anunnaki.
When they took me, they said the others have come in, and they're not supposed to come here, but they do. They obviously, I'm not sure if they were worried or frightened, and I knew they were coming, but so I don't know who the others are, but he said that the others are coming, and this was quite a few years ago now.
See, and I'll tell you a few facts. I'm sorry about my glasses going on and off. But when they talk about the mantis control the reptilians and the draconians. All right, and there's usually only one on the mothership, so their race has to be controlled by another race, which I do not know what race that is. But the mantis are the most fierce out of all the races coming here right now, and in the least talked about because they don't come here in an army. They use the reptilians mainly as their workforce, as like the queen does with their beehive or an ant colony. So when we talk about the Anunnaki, they're a race that try to program us. They made us and twisted our thinking. But we can go into the people don't understand, like the Pleiadians are humans. They're us from the future. Then when we go back to like the Antarians, there's so many other races. But what are they doing? Who can they help? If you can't overpower a race, you can't help the race at all. So, I mean, if you watch movies, and just some of them that show you scenarios of other races coming in, who has the power to override that race? In this physical reality, the most powerful race are the ones that are controlling it right now.
I thought the human beings now have, with sonar, the ability to, what's happened there? To knock these things out of the sky now. Or the Star Wars program.
Realize, all right, if you take Billy Meyer's ships from 50 years ago, they gave those ships up they gave up their ships 30 years ago. They got new ships. All right. If you think we have the technology to wipe out an alien race, they're thousands of years ahead of us. When they gave Tesla knowledge They gave them knowledge to make us a little bit better off to kill ourselves, not to save ourselves. Tesla created the most deadliest weapons for the human race, not for aliens. We don't shoot many ships down. Even the Pleiadians, and I was friends with Fred Bell, who was working on their ships as well, said that if they shoot one more, we the people, shoot one more of their ships down, they will start a war with the United States. So yeah, even the good races are pretty unfriendly to the human race on this planet right now because we're ignorant. You think in 20,000 years, we
I do have a
would
question for you, Tommy.
Go ahead.
In regards to SpaceX and Elon Musk, do you think he's doing this under his own volition, or he's getting these orders from a higher source?
He has to be controlled because he's going to put 16,000 orbs in space in the next year.
That's what I'm referring to, the 5G satellites in low orbit. Yeah.
And Trump says, he comes out and says, well, I'm going to make sure everybody has internet no matter where they are. He tries to take credit for everything that's happening. But sadly, 5G is a weapon. And until people understand the dangers of what that can do to the brain or how they can program. Let me say this real fast. When Nick Baggage, when he discovered the HARP system up in Alaska, he put his site up. They killed his father in a plane and told him he can't do it, but he still has it up. I won't get into him too much now because he changed a real lot, but he put every fact out about the HARP system. The HARP system is the most deadliest weapon on the planet, and it's being used in incredible ways. They can affect one person anywhere on the planet, and it relates to chemtrails, how they can bounce their beams off of things and around the planet and pick whoever they want. They can change storms, they can rearrange tornadoes and things like that whenever they want now. And I mean, they've been working on it since Katrina and things like that. They have been working on this weapon and they're moving it now so that people don't know where they are. There's 5 of them the United States has already. But here's the thing, weapons or not, mankind will be evil to themselves because of the Anunnaki. Anunnaki only came here to reprogram us, to destroy the planet. Now, if you go back before the Anunnaki, when Atlantis was alive and well, this planet was in the most peaceful, balanced, perfect place in the universe. And obviously they couldn't deal with that because the Anunnaki want to be able to control people. The reptilians want to control everybody. So the idea of peace...
But the humans control nothing. We just kill each other.
Well, we believe we control our country. And I say, look at Trump.
Right.
I said, Trump, you realize we killed the native people out and you think we're good people? I mean, to think that the human race is good in any way, well, we're spiritual. No, they don't know what spiritual means. I'm going to do a couple shows on my other channel about spiritualism because I don't want to relate that too much directly to aliens because they do not fit together. Aliens are not spiritual. None of them are. The same as aliens that come here to program us and use us aren't working from a level of spirituality.
So I heard, sorry Tommy, I'm not sure what program it was, it may have even been you, but someone said that aliens don't believe in religion, and they laughed when they said, what religion are you? What do you, is there, you know, have you seen God, or what is it? They said, what you talk about, religion doesn't exist.
Well, they're responsible for creating religion on this planet. All right. Now, spiritualism is different than religion. Spiritualism is becoming aware of who and what you are, which aliens are not. They don't talk about their creator. They don't talk about why they're here in the first place. To play in the universe, to play games of traveling the universe, is a limited concept of reality. Well,
the only thing I can tell you about them, that is not their real body. They choose to be in those bodies, whether it's for the distance, the time, the years, or we stay in our bodies. We are vessels for our souls. It's us that don't understand. We are, as human beings, you think, well, with technology, human beings are dumb. We don't know enough about death. It's not being looked into. There's definitely some type of afterlife. There's more. And, you know, we lost that with you know, with the last flood. But
Tina, we lost that after Atlantis went down. Every single soul that lived in Atlantis was aware of who and what they are. We had 32 psychic abilities. We didn't have to talk, and we weren't steal. We didn't eat animals. All those things were our reality. When the Anunnaki came and reprogrammed man to kill, rape, and abuse and sacrifice, mankind started crashing, and then they destroyed Atlantis. So when we talk about Soul, it was here. We knew what it was at one point in our evolution. Now I'll talk about a couple races: the blue race, the green race, the purple race, the crystal race. They all left this realm because they didn't need to stay here no more, and they realized that the black, red, yellow, and white races are the most slowest in learning, and they're going to reincarnate many, many times to understand.
That's because we don't need it. We don't need the verbal part of our brain where we speak through our voice boxes. We don't need things like that. Where they showed me where we came from, or a source of where we came from, it looked a lot like this planet. But because of something they've done, that planet is no longer there.
I do many shows on spiritualism, death, and the soul body. I spent my whole life with that, more so than UFOs. Soul is so different than what we can perceive or think it is. I'm doing a workshop very soon. I keep saying that. I'm just trying to get so many things are happening right now around where I'm at. I want to do maybe a 3-week show, weekends, for 3 weekends in a row, explaining how to understand soul, which Sasha is learning right now, how to be that, understand it, use it, and work from that level. Mind is not the soul. I don't care which teacher in what part of history told it was, didn't have the experience of death, didn't have the experience of God, didn't have the experience of the higher deities, for real. And if you do, it changes every aspect of your reality to the truth. I mean, like, well, this is that, and well, peace and love and compassion. All those are man-made ideas. I'm not saying we can't be that.
When I had a problem with anaesthetic and them bringing me round, and the white took me, like, it just shot me, it just grabbed you like here, and you're not in a body. I think once you leave your body, there's two things in your body. I think the body is the outer vessel, the shell. Your soul or your spirit is in there, and your consciousness is either a part of it. Because when you leave your body, your consciousness is the same. You're the same person in that consciousness. You just don't have a name. The name stays with your body. Your memories stay with your body. As soon as you're out of the body, it's like we are hosts in our own bodies. Your consciousness is a host in the body you're in. So when you leave that host and you go up into the light, it was like total, utter love and peace when I went there. And the God of fear is like primal fear. You never experienced when you're alive.
Let me stop you right there. That's the space called the bliss state. That's what Buddha taught about. That's a place where you need to go past. You can't stay there, or you shouldn't want to. All right? It's only a holding place for soul to relax and become acquainted with its own vibration, and stays there. It is.
They didn't. They took me into light and said, "You're not ready yet," and dropped me back down.
Well, obviously, you didn't stay there. But when people talk about going into the bliss state, and there's other words for it, it's only a space where you lose who you are, not you find who you are. Reincarnation is where soul is capable of learning. It doesn't lose its past lives. When it has to become aware of that. And that's what the mind, if it's attached to this world too strong, the attachment to this world blocks all that knowledge from coming through. But it doesn't stay in the brain. And I'm sure you'll find out in the near future, the aliens are taking the crystals out of people's brains to see what those experiences are. And they've still been trying to learn who and what we are. Because we're more spiritual than any other race that's in this lower realm. I'm not talking about the interdimensional beings. There's something different. Aliens driving a ship, aliens have a home, and they go back to it. Or inside the earth, or on the earth, whatever. But interdimensional beings don't go back to a home. They don't go back to a house and things like that. Of course, they don't need to eat. All the things that the human consciousness, including when soul goes to the astral plane, they still eat and do all those kind of things, which are useless for soul. And until they become aware of that, they're stuck in, I call it, the Matrix, which was a great movie. Because most people here are stuck within that. They're not ready to go beyond it. And they're still taking the programs by these people from ancient aliens saying that this is that, and that, and they killed this race. And none of that matters. Everything in the past doesn't matter to the present of who you are right now. It's not going to help you eat. It's not going to help you find out who you are as soul. And it's not going to show you where you go when you die. And they're the only things that matter. Because when you die, you lose all this. It's not important. None of it. No family. No. If you're attached to it, you come back and think your family is important, and you'll be born
So I'm
into.
just reading what Saturn Arc has just replied, just to say that the ETs were told to stop medicals and torture of contactees a long time ago. But a lot of these things did happen a long time ago, but some of them were very, like a few years ago, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4. But last year, I told you.
Wait.
I woke up.
Hold that thought. I have somebody in the chat room, Sasha. He says Warren Van Buren said the man in control of Mars colony will be named Elon.
Yeah, I was gonna wait until you guys stopped talking to actually highlight that comment.
Just tell us to shut up, Sasha. Say, hold on, I've got something to say.
Chris Woods, he's got some pretty interesting facts here.
Well,
go on, spill him out then. Does he want to be on the show? What's he got to say?
He hasn't written anything else, so.
Chris, one day you got to come on. Sasha's on now. I mean, you can come on maybe in the next show or something. I love people that have a brain and they think a little bit more, and they're a lot more in tune with what's really happening and try to piece it together.
Ask questions as many as you want. We're either going to tell you the truth and you're not going to like it, or we tell you the truth and you're not going to believe it. Either way, you're going to get the truth.
Well, just so you know, people, I didn't go into my story today, which I don't like to go into every day, but I had 5 death experiences. All right. I spent half of my life traveling out of my body. I met with deities, worked with deities for years. They're real. I work with angels, not on a more so with deities than angels, but they're real. Your guides. Every person has spiritual guides. And if you learn to find them, meet them, or understand them, and learn to communicate with them, you'll be much better off in reality and death as well. But until you make the point to go a little bit deeper in what's real and what's not, living on planet Earth is the Matrix. It's a game.
Oh, God, Tommy, stop there. You know you said about the Matrix. This is really freaky, right? Do you remember me telling you about 2 years ago? I went to bed. I woke up, and my left eye, the one I've got the lump, I've got a lump behind my left eye, and it pushes against my lens, and it crushes my thingy from behind. I can't do anything about it. Anyway, this thing had swollen up and down, and I get photos from it. Anyway, I was asleep and I woke up, and I don't know what time it was, and I was awake, so both my eyes, I was looking at my wardrobe in front of me, my dog was just there sniffing, and all these numbers are going across my left eye, and as they were shooting across my left eye, they seemed to be dropping down in slots, and as the longer numbers were getting smaller and smaller and smaller in a circle, but there was another little circle like a car dial, and as they were dropping down into there, and then it was like 4 digits, it went for like 12 digits going across, and it was dropping down to like 8, 6, 4, and then at the end it was just 4, and then I kept blinking, expecting it to go, but it was only in that eye. So yeah, just thought I'd share that with you.
I want to put this out for the hatter out there, tinfoil hatter. Weapons of any kind are useless. It's not going to help mankind move forward in any way. And sadly, that's what freaking the Anunnaki decided to help us with. And whatever race Tesla worked with gave us the worst weapons that we need on this planet.
Do you know what I need somebody to give me? The winning lottery numbers.
Well, I was 6 years old with my grandmother, and we played with the Ouija board for the first time, and we asked it for the lottery number, and it gave it to us, the number for the next day.
No. Did you write it down? I would have done it.
So the next day we tried to do it, and we couldn't. But the spirit knows when you're going to follow what's given to you and when you're not, because it doesn't try to change history. Ouija boards, whatever kind of spirits come through it, and so many people are afraid of them.
You don't need to change history. You just get aliens to abduct you. They put you in a bubble and they show you history.
They show you their history, which they can create. And that's
they showed me our history. I asked them. I told you, they put me in a bubble and they sent me back there or forward there, wherever they went.
Who is it? Corey Good says that the blue race takes him and shows him the future, shows him the past, shows him everything. Well, don't forget, Corey Good said the world's going to be destroyed greatly real soon. So did a couple other people. The doomsday person and that.
They show me images of like this huge explosion.
because they're not dealing with God, they're not dealing with soul, they're not dealing with spirit. When Sodom and Gomorrah happened, an angel came to him and said, look, this is what you have to do. When Noah's Ark happened, an angel came down to him and showed him what he had to do.
A
So,
woman came
angel-
to me
wait,
in
wait.
my room in a
Well,
burst of light and said, save all the cans you can.
Aliens are not angels, and they're not going to help mankind stay here and be what we want to be. They're going to give us programs to lead us to where they want to take us. There's no good aliens, and I know you agree with that. So when they
Yeah,
give you,
I'm right with you.
here's the thing: Billy Myers was working with the Pleiadians at his time frame, and he comes out and discovers the actual written word of Judas, and he writes a book on it called The Talent of Jumad, and basically it's a story how Judas was with Jesus and Jesus was an alien. So guess how did he find it? But since he was working with aliens, he found this script. He gives it to a family. The family's killed. He only has half of it translated. A year later, the true manuscripts of Judas is found in pieces, and it takes 2 years to piece that together. So whose Judas's story would you want to believe? Wait. Would you want to believe Billy Myers' story of Judas or the actual documents that were found in somewhere else?
No, it's like that guy who discovered the Book of Mormon. He said an angel, someone came to him in a sleep or dream and told him where to go and dig. And he went there and dug up this gold book, the Book of Mormon, wasn't it? And he said that came to him in a dream.
See, spirits, there's good and bad spirits, all right? And
I don't think they're spirits, I think they're aliens.
Well, they could have been aliens. Aliens actually could go through time way many years ago, all right? So they can implant anything in our history now that they want us to believe. Every time they find a new city, every time they find a new artifact, every time they find something. I mean, the Easter Island, rocks in the ground. So what? And we spend so much time trying to figure out these rocks. I mean, all the things that worry about stones. How about soul, death, and what happens to these people?
We don't know enough. They don't know enough about the soul and the human body.
Well, I'm 3/4 of the way done with my new book. The topic's not anything to do with aliens, UFOs. It's about rape. All right. But when I get into it is something beyond anybody's wild imagination on truth about what happens. And basically it's about children being born and what they're programmed with, where they're coming from. Aliens are reincarnating into this planet greatly now. Everybody wants to be in the golden age, which we're supposed to move into. And with everybody playing the games that we are, we might never attain the golden age. The world might be destroyed.
Why do we need a golden age? Tell me, look at our planet. I'm not being funny. Look at our planet. We've got many different religions. I'm not knocking any of them. Fair play to whoever wants to believe anything. But would you want to come to this planet? We rape people, we kill people, we eat animals, we poison our atmosphere, we poison our children, we poison the wildlife. We're at war, we're radiating the planet.
Nina,
would you want to come back and say, hi, by the way,
wait.
we're trying to help you. But
do you know what?
Would you want us to come and visit you? No, you wouldn't.
Do you know what the golden age is supposed to mean? World peace. World love.
Oh, that's never going to happen. We're too different. We're too indifferent to it all.
We're not going to happen. It's not going to happen because we're moving the opposite away from it. We're making sure that it doesn't happen on the planet. But that's because of the Anunnaki. Like I said, we were in the golden age when Atlantis was here. We didn't eat animals. Everything was pure, clean. There wasn't negativity here. And then it was brought down to us. So right now, because of Satan and Satan's and the alien races, we got serious problems. And now, I mean, people are predicting that people think Lucifer is the one to blame, that Jesus is going to come down and kill Lucifer, and then we're going to go into the golden age. It's not going to happen like that. It can't. First off, Jesus was never a god. Jesus was never anything other than a most spiritual person walking this planet, with the aware of the 32 psychic abilities that the human has. So outside of that, we're moving into a space that's dangerous because we can destroy the planet. All that would mean is God would have to create another world to put all these idiots.
I'm just adjusting my ball bit there.
The golden age, for it to happen, people have to realize there's only one God, not many. The words and everything else, people like Muhammad, when he worked with an angel. He didn't work with God.
Tommy, we're wrapping this up. Sorry, I'm interrupting you. We are wrapping this up any minute now. Say your last goodbyes and finish what you're saying.
You're wrapping it up now. So, look, thank you, everybody that's listening. Please send this link to everybody out there that you can. It's going to grow. We're going to get more truth out there as fast as much as we can. I'm going to bring guests that I trust and know that are respectable and honest and real, that I can feel that are totally truthful. So please, it's growing, and I want you to realize that we're starting about the beginning and trying to get this organized so we all can get in here on time and be here at the same time. But all those guests in the chat room, please, if you want to come on, I will send you the link. Email me, hawksblood1@aol.com, and I'll get you the link to come into the show. I mean, other than just watching it. So we got information that the world needs. No, sorry, people. Ancient Aliens not going to help you survive the next day. They're not going to tell you why you're
Tommy,
here.
stop it. Stop it, Tommy.
All those people.
Don't bash on the shows. Don't bash on the shows.
Do you realize they get paid $20,000 to speak for 2 hours?
Yes, but we speak the truth.
Yeah, but they don't.
We don't get paid for it.
Now, Tina, have you met all of the cast yet?
I have met. So hold on. Here's my little. Sorry, I do apologise. I'm really having my wall redone, but I don't know if you can see. But that's Richard Doland.
Yeah.
That's David Childress.
Okay.
Linda Moulton Howe and me. Eric Von Daniken. Richard Fleischer's over there. There's quite a few. There's Don Schmidt. That's Nick Pope, Mike Barr, and Grant Cameron, and Andrew Collins, and there's quite a few more down there. There's me and a producer. There's Larry. There you go. The guys from Cable Green. And there's some guys there from Gaia TV, and yeah, I've met quite a few of them, and I'm meeting some more soon as well from UFO Hunters. Sorry, my eyes are just gone a bit funny. From UFO Hunters. So
one thing, the last thing I'll say, I'm proud that most of these UFO people are afraid of me. They're afraid to deal with truth.
Why are they afraid?
Because they
I
want
find
to
you fascinating,
tell stories. They won't make money if they're proven wrong. Now, when a person says they were with aliens, and there's only 2 people that have actual artifacts of aliens. John Lennon was one of them. And he was
there.
killed.
I'm going to wrap this up. You're going on. Stop it. Listen to me. Tonight we're going on top. It's soon 20 past the hour. Listen, I love you, Tommy, because you speak the truth, and I not argue the toss. I like to someone to bounce off of, and I'll just butt in. I know you're going to come back. You've got so much experience, so much life in you. That's what I like. You know so much more than me. I wasn't into all this alien stuff. This is just something I fell into. It happened to me, and I wanted help. Since then, I've had to look at things. So I've gone in every nook, corner, and cranny to meet all these people and speak to them myself. I've been Linda Moulton Howe gave me a grilling for half an hour. But it's, to find the truth. So I stop anybody, ask the truth, and I'll argue the toss over anything because I don't need to prove what, I know what has happened. So, but I like people to come on. I like Sasha to come on. I like people to ask questions. The more questions you ask, the more you're going to know. If you don't know, ask. If we don't know the questions, apart from it being God, sorry, Tommy, we'll find somebody who knows.
Give them the information to get in touch with you.
Yeah. No, but right. So, hi. You can find me on Facebook. I'm on Twitter, Instagram. I don't really reply a lot because I'm very busy, but Human Individuals Visited by Extraterrestrials, and that's the Hive Initiative or Hive blog. I'm Tina Barrett on Facebook, and we try and do a weekly show here with Tommy on StreamYard or on Skype. You can reach me on Messenger. If you want help or you want me to put you in contact with somebody, just message me, email me. If you want to come on the show, please contact Tommy, contact me. Tommy's probably a better bet, but you can contact me. If you want help with anything else, I've not got a problem. I can take the time and help you. And I'm going to say goodbye from England and the UK. Sasha and Tommy, it's been a pleasure as always, and I hope to see you more often, Sasha. And I'll leave it to Sasha to say good evening.
Yeah, same here, Tina. It was good seeing you again.
Thank you, Tina. It's always a
And you.
pleasure.
And you.
So
And
until next time, please, everybody, take this link and put it up everywhere you can. I'm open. I'll bring anybody on the show if they want to debate. I mean, I don't bring people that I want to discuss with on as a debater, because I let them speak the truth if I know it's the truth. But if it's a lie, I will
Sasha,
be right
I want
there.
you to ask questions. Ask questions. More questions, Sasha.
We'll do. We'll do.
He was kind of a little bit quiet today, but we'll get him to talk and ask more questions. He always.
Well, it's like, I mean, everything you guys are talking about, I already, I believe. So I don't have anything to contradict.
Yeah, but you can ask. Say, hold on a second. Ask more.
Well,
I
no,
encourage
we talk a
everybody
lot.
to ask more questions.
Tina, we talk a lot, so he's in tune with what I speak about as
Right,
well.
shut up now, because we've got to go. Good evening, everybody.
Goodbye,
see you.
See you
Tina.
next time.
It was a pleasure. Till
Adieu.
next time.
Bye-bye, guys.
Don't forget,
Bye.
we were live on YouTube and also Facebook, so we'll see how that goes.
I do apologise for swearing earlier, by the way, everybody. I'm really sincerely, I'm sorry.
Well, Google and YouTube, they're very strict now.
I'm so
Well,
sorry.
we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah.
All right, Tina, we'll say goodbye.
Bye-bye. I'm going to have my tea now. Bye.
She's gone. All right, Sasha, it was a pleasure. Please come on anytime you want and stay in touch and send this link out as much as you can to everybody. Not the link that brought you here, but the link that gets them onto the show. It's a separate link.
Okay. Yeah, I retweeted the one that you posted on your account.
All right. Now, the one that's for to get onto YouTube to watch it. All right. Otherwise, it pulls you into the show itself. So with that, people, everybody out there in the chat, please thank you for coming in, talking, asking questions. Please text me, hawksblood1al.com anytime. You want to come on the show, we'll set something up. I can do shows 7 days a week, 2 hours a day. So anywhere, anytime that you want to do a show, or feel free, please get in touch with me. Till next time, everybody. Thank you for listening, being a part of it. Thank you, Sasha. We'll talk soon.
Sounds good. All right. Thank you, Tommy.